Marcel, this is an update pertaining to the medic plane that went down in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji 129 Cash App. Thank you for your time.
National Transportation Safety Board and we are an independent federal agency that's charged by Congress with investigating every civil aviation accident in the United States and significant events in all other modes of transportation. Our entire mission is safety, to determine what happened, how it happened, and why, with the aim of preventing it from happening again. Yesterday at about 18:06 Eastern Standard Time, a Learjet 55, Mexican registration, X-ray Alpha Uniform Charlie India, call sign Tango Sierra 056, was destroyed when it crashed into a commercial and residential area shortly after takeoff from Northeast Philadelphia Airport, with 6 people on board, including 2 crew members. Night instrument meteorological conditions prevailed, and an instrument flight plan had been filed for Springfield Branson National Airport in Springfield, Missouri. The air ambulance flight was operated by MedJets USA, doing business as Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, which is based in Mexico. They also have facilities in Miami.
This is a brief intermission. So this plane departed from Florida and made its way to the East Coast of Philadelphia to pick up a young girl who is a Mexican national, she and her mom, and it was her last day of treatments when this flight, and it did not make it to Springfield, Missouri, nor Mexico. Such a tragedy, horrible tragedy.
Let me take a moment to express our deepest condolences for all those who were impacted by this devastating tragedy. I also want to extend our deepest sympathies for all those who were injured in this accident. NTSB investigators began to arrive within 90 minutes of the crash. Deployed a full GO team this morning. On scene is a total of 17 people with specific expertise in areas of aviation safety, and of course, me as well. I want to say that I have really been moved by the outpouring of support for the NTSB over this past week. This morning, the U.S. Park Service, DCA, to Northeast Philadelphia Airport, and I really want to thank the U.S. Park Service because it was a very quick call and request by us, and not only did they fly me here, but they also spent some time giving me an aerial view of the accident site.
Now imagine this NTSB is also investigating the crash in DC of an airliner and Black Hawk helicopter crash. And she actually got inside of a helicopter and flew to this crash. It takes a brave soul to get on a helicopter after knowing your agency is also investigating a Black Hawk military crash with an American airliner. Wow, wow, wow. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
That support extends to federal, state, and local officials here in the Philadelphia area, and I want to start by really thanking Mayor Parker and her entire staff. We did go over to Unified Command and met with her, met with the 2 deputies and her staff, and I really want to thank her for her extending resources to us and for the unity that's here to get to the bottom of what occurred. I also want to thank the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, who has been very engaged not only at DCA with that accident investigation, but here in Philadelphia, and the FAA Acting Administrator, Groshilo. I also want to thank Governor Shapiro, Senator Fetterman, Senator McCormick, Congressman Boyle, Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management, Philadelphia Managing Philadelphia Fire Department, Philadelphia Police Department, Philadelphia Department of Licenses and Inspections, Philadelphia Streets Department, PICO, Philadelphia Gas Works, Philadelphia Department of Public Health, Philadelphia Department of Aviation, the School District of Philadelphia, Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, Philadelphia Commerce Department, Delaware Valley Intelligence Center, Free Library of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, the Pennsylvania State Police, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the Federal Aviation Administration, the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and the Fraternal Order of. As you can see from this very long list, there is substantial support for this investigation. Now I'm going to turn it over to Ralph Hicks for a few minutes to talk about the flight, and then I will return to talk about the crash itself.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a little bit about the flight itself. The flight originated at Opelika, Florida, yesterday afternoon about 12 p.m. The aircraft arrived at Northeast Philadelphia Airport around 2:15 p.m. in the afternoon. It was on the ground for a few hours and departed runway 24 about 6:06 p.m. And it was, like we said, it was dark at the time and instrument conditions. The aircraft climbed to about 1,500 feet above the ground. We were looking at GPS data on the aircraft, a slight right turn followed by a slight left turn, and then a steep descent towards the ground where it crashed. The entire flight lasted less than a minute.
Left right turn, what happened? Was the pilot trying to go back? What happened? Just asking. Left right turn, what happened? Sorry about this, everybody. Just curious. Brief intermission. Why was the plane making a left right turn? Did the pilot have some type of mechanical problem? Was there a mechanical problem with the plane? Will we find out there was a mechanical issue with the plane? Just asking.
High impact crash, and the plane is highly fragmented. There is a substantial impact on the entire community. The debris field extends 4 or 5 blocks. And I do want to stress that this is an active investigation scene. The debris is scattered. It is very dangerous. And so I encourage everyone to stay out of the accident site. It's very dangerous. Several days, possibly extending into weeks, we will be collecting that debris, loading it onto a truck, and moving it to a secure location so that we can begin to do our evaluation of that debris. Now, I do want to mention we are still looking for the cockpit voice recorder. We have located the 2 engines, but for the cockpit voice recorder, we're still looking for it. It could be intact, but likely it is damaged. It may be fragmented. So if this or business owners or others who find debris, please email the NTSB at witness@ntsb.gov. That's witness@ntsb.gov. Now, I'm sure I will get questions about having two major accident investigations at one time. We are a highly skilled agency. It is not unusual for the NTSB to be investigating two major accidents. We have tremendous resources at both, and we will get to our findings, our probable cause, and our recommendations, and to a final investigative report. With that, I'm going to take questions. I will ask that you raise your hand, that you give me your name and your affiliation. Sir.
Brian Sheehan, NBC Channel. Are you classifying this as an accident at this point?
The question is, are we classifying this as an accident? Yes, we are.
Rich Griffin, CBS News Philadelphia. I see reference to.
You see the ladder there. It has been said by one woman who gave an interview, African-American woman who gave an interview to the news, that there was a part of the airplane on fire in front of her door, and in the back, the neighbor's home was on fire. She was looking for a dog, trying to find her dog, able to get out. The fire was extinguished in front of her house, but there was a body on the top of the building. So I'm wondering, with this ladder, was it that they were getting someone out of that apartment, home, townhouse? I don't think this is the building where there was the decedent on the building, but one of the buildings I did see debris, see something on top of the building in my live stream the other day. I believe that was Friday's live stream, and I kept saying to myself, what's that on top of the building? So someone was ejected out of this aircraft onto the top of one of these buildings, just so you know. And that information is on my community page if you need verification for the said information. Last check, there was a 6 blocks radius of debris from the airplane scattered around. One guy says he had debris on his car. He drove his car to the police station. It was recommended that you do not move your car. So do not remove your car. If you have debris on your car from this crash, they will send someone out to investigate and take the evidence off of your car. Don't move your car, because if you drive your car naturally, the debris can fall off of your car, just so you all know.
It's like a turn left and right before that they crashed and then after taking off. Does that suggest anything to you guys early on?
The question is the path, the track of the plane, that it moved a little to the right, moved a little to the left. It doesn't really suggest anything right now. We just wanted to provide that information for you. Certainly we'll evaluate information as we continue on with our investigation. Right now, our focus is on collecting the perishable evidence, and that is the debris and what we need to take in order to conduct our investigation. Yes.
Mills Hayes with News Nation. Are you guys aware of any debris or anything falling from the plane before it went down?
The question is, are we aware of any debris or anything falling from the plane before it went down? We are not aware of that. However, certainly videos are always welcome by others who have taken them. We've seen a number of them online. Also to witness@ntsb.gov. Here and then here.
Ellen Wood, Fox 29 Local, Philadelphia. How helpful have neighbors or business owners been in this investigation? Have you talked to a lot of them?
The question is, how helpful have neighbors and business owners been so far in this investigation? So today is our first full day for us as part of this investigation. Certainly our other partners here have been speaking with businesses and residents, but not at this time. We may eventually. Yeah. Here and then here.
Brianna Smith at 6 ABC. Earlier today, city leaders mentioned that there was a remote area with debris where something happened with the aircraft. So can you elaborate on that?
The question is on a comment that was made earlier about a remote area and something happening with the aircraft. I haven't seen that comment, so at this time I can't comment on it, but at our next press briefing, we'll evaluate it.
You see cars on the road that were burned, charred. Were any of these people severely injured? I just brought you information. Well, I have it in my title. 7 people are dead. Now, mind you, there are only 6 on the plane. So that means somebody down here on the ground has perished. 19 injured. Are any of these people deceased or injured? Because you see cars charred, and you see this car is going in the opposite direction. It's not going in the direction that this car is going. So, plane hit down. What happened? Debris hit the car, turned it around. You also will hear of a young boy by the name of Andre who shielded his sister in the back seat of his parents' car. When that debris fell, hit the ground, the plane, he shielded his sister. The windshield was knocked out, and the glass, was knocked out of the car, and pieces of the air was embedded inside of the boy's head. He is still at the hospital, and I believe he's in fair condition, African-American boy child.
Yes.
Yeah, well, John, you touched on it briefly before you're dealing with 2 major accidents now, 2 major collisions in the space of a couple of days. How do you deal with that?
The question is, how do we deal with 2 major collisions in a span of days? We are a very small federal agency. Most people aren't aware that we only have 436 employees at the NTSB, and that spans all modes of transportation. For aviation safety, we have a number of investigators because our mandate is to do quite more than the other modes of transportation, where we're doing every civil aviation accident in the United States. We also do serve as accredited representative for foreign investigations as well. So in this case, we had to have a highly skilled team focused on certain areas that are at DCA for that plane crash. And then we have a number of other investigators that are not on call for that crash that we can do.
Can you imagine 4 blocks radius, 4 to 6 blocks radius of where you see the charred darkness on the ground? That's a lot of blocks, 4 blocks. You know, city blocks are usually longer than most places. So you're talking about impact and then poof, ejecting bodies onto buildings and debris scattered at least 6 blocks long. That's deep. That is deep.
Are you adequately resourced this organisation?
Either way, debris.
The question is, are we adequately resourced as an organization? I will say that over the last few years, Congress has given us more funding in order for us to conduct our mission. That has increased pretty significantly over the past couple of years. However, we do need further increases because our greatest resource or greatest asset for the NTSB is our workforce. And so, yes, we always need more resources.
Have you asked the President? Would you ask the President for more resources?
The question is, have we asked the President? I mean, certainly, our budget for more resources. I will say President Trump has been very, very supportive of the National Transportation Safety Board. I did brief the President this week, and he has indicated his strong NTSB, which we appreciate, and we appreciate the resources we've been given, and certainly in our budget request, we. Yes.
I know you said that you're still looking for a cockpit voice recorder. Can you just talk about how critical that is in the investigation, and on top of it, the condition?
Whole block, cars everywhere.
So the question is on the cockpit voice recorder.
Lord have mercy.
the question is how crucial it is, what condition it's in. The condition could be fragmented, could be damaged. I will say we have an incredible team at our headquarters, our Office of Research and Engineering, who have significant expertise on repairing damaged cockpit voice recorders and flight data recorders. In fact, we're known throughout the world. Other countries send their black boxes to us to fix. And so hopefully once we can find it, that's the biggest question right now, we can take that back to our lab and evaluate it. How critical is it? Certainly it's critical so we can hear what's happening in the cockpit. However, it doesn't mean that we can't continue our investigation and complete it. We can. It's just a piece of our investigation that gives us. Yes.
Are there any issues or any signs of issues communicated to the control tower before this happened?
The question is, was there any sign of an issue or was anything communicated from the flight deck to ATC, the air traffic control tower? No, nothing was communicated. In fact, in the recording that we have, there is an attempt by air traffic controllers to get a response from the flight crew that they didn't receive. Okay. No, so the question is on the black box. It's actually orange. It's an orange box, but it could be damaged and might not be orange. And it could be in pieces. So that's why we are asking the public, if you see anything, any types of debris, because you may not know what it is, please email us at witness@ntsb.gov. Thank you very much. We will post on X when our next press conference is. Appreciate it.
Well, they will update us. Don't know when the next press conference is going to be. The issue in DC is supposed to be, I think today they're going to come back with some information pertaining to the DC update. Feel free to check out my live stream that I just uploaded just a little while ago pertaining to the update on the crash of the Black Hawk helicopter and American airliner. Straight to the point.
We just heard from officials with the NTSB. As we know, the NTSB is the National Transportation Safety Board. They are an independent federal agency responsible for investigating all civil aviation crashes. And as we heard from this official, this is a very small agency. They have about 436 employees in this agency. And right now they are untimely tasked with two major crashes. That includes the Wednesday crash in Washington, D.C. at DCA, Reagan National Airport, and now this crash from last night in Northeast Philadelphia. What we got from this presser was a little bit more details about the timeline of this flight. We learned that the medical jet came in, left around 12 p.m. and it originated in Opa-locka, Florida. It then flew into Philadelphia and departed from the Northeast Philadelphia airport at about 6:06 p.m. Now, this flight climbed about 150 feet from the ground before it made a right turn, a left turn, and then made a sharp descent to the ground. Now, at that point, they're still investigating what exactly went wrong to cause that nosedive of a descent to the ground in Northeast Philadelphia. We've seen plenty of videos coming into our newsroom all over social media that shows the impact, the flames that went into the sky and the sharp crash down into the ground. The debris field spans
Broke the concrete up.
City blocks in that Northeast Philadelphia neighborhood near Cottman Avenue and Roosevelt Boulevard. It's right near the Roosevelt Mall. And officials are asking residents to stay away from that site because it's very and federal agencies are able to find pieces of that plane that's scattered throughout this area. They say it's very dangerous for you to interact with any of this because we don't know what condition they're in. Now, over the next week, NTSB will be surveying the area and collecting all of those fragments to put together an investigation. The NTSB is very meticulous and methodical with their investigations. It could take up to a year to 2 years, but they're looking for a cockpit voice recorder. It may be damaged, it may be fragmented, but if you find any pieces of this aircraft from this accident, you can call or you can contact the NTSB via email at witness@ntsb.gov. Once again, witness@ntsb.gov. That's the best place to send any information about pieces of this plane that you may find in your neighborhood. All right, our coverage continues after PGA Tour Golf on our website, cbsphiladelphia.com.
Okay, what happened with this aircraft? Left turn, right turn. What was this pilot trying to do? 2 pilots were on board, a child, the child's mother, girl child, that's 4, and then medical staff. That's your 6. 1 person on the ground, unalive, 7. 19 people injured on the ground. 4 to 6 blocks radius of debris from the airplane. 1 person was ejected naturally from the plane when it crashed, hit the ground. That body was found on a building. Stay woke. This is bad once again. Small agency investigating, NTSB. Wow. Lord have mercy. What happened to this aircraft? Opelika, Florida, traveled to Philadelphia, going to make his way to Springfield, Missouri, but did not. And then from there, from Missouri, would have made his way to Mexico. Did not meet his destination. Affiliation with Florida agency, this plane, medic plane, Mexican nationals on the plane. Child went to Philadelphia to get medical care, last day of treatment, celebration, which ended up she and her mother and staff members and pilots unalive on the said aircraft. Lord have mercy. This is just absolutely devastating. Let's hear from some people on the ground pertaining to this aircraft. Lord have mercy. One lady's going to tell you what she witnessed on the ground pertaining to this accident.
Crash investigation is just starting, but there are so many other moving pieces to what's happening out there. Emergency workers have set up a shelter at Samuel Fells High School overnight to take care of anyone who may have been forced out of their homes by the crash.
CBS News Philadelphia reporter Dan Snyder went to that shelter. He's live out near the scene of that crash with the story of one woman, Dan, who scrambled to escape the aftermath. Good morning.
Good morning, Howard and Jen. Yeah, as you can see behind me, we are just a few blocks away from that crash site. And what you can really tell from this look, just how densely populated this area is. So many people saw and felt the impact of last night's crash. One of those women, Dolores, we spoke with her just about an hour ago. She did spend the night at that Red Cross shelter at Fells High School. She lives very, very close to where that plane went down. She tells us she was upstairs, laying in bed at the time, heard a loud boom, a flash of yellow, and then everything flew off her bed. She described to us those chaotic moments, those seconds after that crash happened. Take a listen.
As I came downstairs and I opened up the door, there was a piece of the airplane and at the steps on fire. So I thought the house was on fire. So I panicked, looking for my dog. And as I was panically looking for her, I fell out of steps trying to get her because she hid from me. And then when I went down to the basement, I opened up the back door. The back of the house was on fire. My neighbor's house in the back was totally engulfed in flames.
Now, fortunately, Dolores and her dog were able to get out of the house safely. As we said, she did spend the night at the Red Cross shelter at Fells High School. When we spoke to her just about an hour ago, she was actually on her way back home to get her first daylight look at her home. She tells us most, if not all, of the windows in her home are blown out, but at this point, she does not think she has any fire damage, so she is going to check everything out, as many people around here are going to be doing today. Howard and Jan, back to you.
You know, we've been saying all morning long that this is right next to Roosevelt Mall. However, we also need to remember that you're also right in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, so many people want to get back to see what is left. But again, officials are asking people to stay away from that scene at this time as the investigation continues.
Left behind, any street, any alleyway, any pathway you could really find that could lead to that crash site is going to be closed off as police try to cordon off as much as they can as part of this investigation. But obviously, this entire area was full of activity last night as that jet went down. One woman we spoke with says she lives very, very close to that site. She tells us all her windows were blown out during that incident. She told us about scrambling to try and find her dog, figure out what was going on, and get out of the house as quick as she could, and opening up the door to find a piece of the plane on fire in front of her steps.
My neighbor put the fire out that was in front of the door, and I got out the house, and it was just a body on top of the roof, pieces on top, like fire of the airplane all on the ground and stuff. It was very,
body
very
on top
terrifying.
Of the roof.
Like I'm very scared right now.
When I got there on the scene, besides the sounds of first responders, it was eerily quiet. No folks were walking, businesses were shuttered, cars were charred. It was a really difficult scene.
State Representative Jared Solomon, who you heard from there, he grew up in the neighborhood, he represents this area, and he echoed what we've heard from many people here, that this was just something that was completely unimaginable to them. A plane going down in their neighborhood, never even considered that possibility. He says this is now a time for the community to come together and lend a hand where you can. We'll send it back to you.
It's certainly not something that you would expect to happen if you're sitting on your couch or driving down the road there. Dan, thank you very much to you and your photographer, KCQ. And stay with CBS News Philadelphia as we bring you the latest developments on this crash. When we're not on air, you can always find us at cbsphiladelphia.com.
So this lady tells you she was looking for her dog and trying to scramble, get out of the house, fell down the stairs. The dog was hiding. See, we're talking about moments of your life. She's trying to get a dog. Now imagine somebody with kids and a dog, dogs. You're talking about seconds, depending on if your building home becomes engulfed in flames. This is how many people do burn up in homes, trying to get out, trying to get people out, trying to get pets out. Serious business. Serious business. I'm trying to bring you all the latest of this. But make sure I got everything. Got a lot of things I brought. I was looking. Trying to find the one with the young boy. Hold on one second, everybody. I'm going to go to my page. My community page. And then we'll check over there. So I've got a lot of videos over there. Check my community page for updates to this crash in Philadelphia. Because there are a lot of, news broadcasts pertaining to this horrific crash. Once again, prayers who have perished. I want to make sure I got it. Let's see. All these stories. I think it might be the one up top. Welcome to the Vault Excel, everybody. Yesterday, pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. New update, 3 new accusers have come forward with information in a superseding indictment against Sean Puffy Combs. He is not facing any new charges, but 3 women are bringing allegations of coercion, threatening, pertaining to being abused by Sean Puffy Combs. His former executive assistant, has brought forward allegations against him as well. And a Miss Wood has brought testimony to Good Morning America of her member of Danity Kane, a music group, and her witnessing abuse of Aubrey. I believe her name is Aubrey O'Day or Day. And she decided to share her truth now. Does she fear retaliation? Yes, she does. But she decided to tell what she witnessed as a member of that music group. I think everybody knows anything anyone has to say. But in the end, it's a matter of what you can prove in a court of law. I brought you information during that live stream. It's going to be interesting because a lot of the data that's brought forward of the tapes of the videos, they were on Miss Ventura's phone, which I did not know that. And I just brought information to you all about that yesterday. So this is going to be a very interesting trial, which will start in a few months in May. We will see what happens.
Now at 11, new details about that deadly medical jet crash in Northeast Philadelphia. Investigators are combing through the burned cars and damaged homes for clues while neighbors try to fully process exactly what happened last night. The latest in the investigation into what caused that aircraft to go down just moments after takeoff. It is Saturday night. I'm Walter Perez. The big story in Action News is the latest, the deadly medical jet crash in Northeast Philadelphia. It happened just after 6 p.m., not too far from the Roosevelt Mall. Tonight, officials from Mexico have identified the mother and the child among the 6 victims of that aircraft. That's Lisbeth Murillo Osuna and Valentina Guzman Murillo. One person on the ground was also killed, as 19 others on the ground were injured. Officials from the National Transportation Safety Board say the flight first departed from Opa-locka, Florida yesterday around noon. It arrived at Northeast Philadelphia Airport a couple of hours later before departing a bit past 6 p.m. It climbed to about 1,500 feet before plummeting back to the ground. The flight was headed for Missouri before continuing to Tijuana. We have team coverage on the latest developments. Action News reporter Brianna Gallagher has an update on the injured victims. Katie Catro spoke with witnesses, and Brianna Smith has the latest from officials investigating this crash. We begin with Brianna.
Walter, the NTSB classified the crash as an accident, and you can see flashing lights behind me. First responders and experts from the local to the federal level have been on the ground for more than 24 hours now, searching for more potential victims and collecting evidence. The NTSB says this could take days, even weeks, this process. And right now they're on the search for the jet's black box.
The entire flight lasted less than a minute.
We have a lost aircraft. We're not exactly sure what happened.
This video shows the massive explosion in a busy thoroughfare after a medical jet crashed near Roosevelt Mall in Northeast Philadelphia just after 6 p.m. on Friday.
We're looking at
less than 1 minute, this plane was in the air. Can you imagine being on this flight and realizing something is wrong? What were the pilots saying to one another? What mechanical failure? I can't imagine being up in that air with my child. My child is going home. Last day of treatment for this girl child. Do not know what her ailments were and what she was being treated for. But she was attending this Shriners Hospital in Philadelphia. This was the last day of treatment. To only be on an airplane that's about to go down. It's a lot to digest. And we've heard stories like this. People who moved to different places from different countries. They left a war-torn country to only end up dying in the place that they moved to. Being abused, sexually assaulted, hurt, harmed, met an early demise. So imagine a child leaving Mexico, of all places, to come to America to get help, to Shriners paying for everything to help this child, only for her to die with her mother and other medical crew and pilots on a plane in the United States. That's deep. Imagine the fear of everyone on board, realizing something's wrong. We're about to go down. One person died on the ground, 19 people injured, 6 people on the plane. All parties on the plane perished in this crash.
Looking at GPS data on the aircraft, a slight right turn followed by a slight left turn, and then a deep descent towards the ground where it crashed.
The NTSB says Learjet 55, operated by Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, was flying to Missouri from the Northeast Philadelphia airport. The 6 members on board, including a child and her mother, died. They've been identified as Liseth Murillo Osuna and Valentina Guzman Murillo. Shriners Children's Philadelphia says the child received treatment and was headed home to Mexico.
We mourn their loss, and they are in our thoughts and in our prayers.
Mayor Sherelle Parker says at least 1 person in a vehicle was killed and 19 others injured, but that number could increase as the investigation continues.
Damn.
The city is working around the clock to keep people safe, to understand what happened, and to be there for those who are impacted.
As the sun rose on Saturday, this is what the road looked like from Chopper 6. A huge crater, charred cars, and 5 scorched homes with debris spanning nearly 6 blocks. The NTSB says now they're desperately searching for the cockpit voice recorder.
Hopefully, once we can find it, that's the biggest question right now. We can take that back to our lab and evaluate it. I encourage.
Where is the voice recorder? This is deep. As I said, 1 person from the plane landed on top of an apartment building, a home building. I can't imagine. A whole sidewalk opened up once that plane hit the ground. Cars caught on fire. Can you imagine being in your car and pieces of a plane hit your car, set your car on fire, kill you? 1 little boy injured in a car, glass shattered, piece of a plane in his head. That's how serious this accident was. Windows shattered in apartment buildings. Woman said her bed was shaking, as you heard earlier. I can't imagine. 4 to 6 blocks of debris scattered from this airplane, broken up into pieces, fragmented, as they like to say. Just a nice word for saying broke up. Plane broke up, body parts flying, that was also mentioned. It's not like the plane in DC going into the water. Pieces of a human being on the ground, in the air. Now you gotta ask, where's the voice recorder? Hopefully nobody has retrieved it. I hope not. If you have it, please turn it in. This is serious business. Lord have mercy.
Encourage everyone to stay out of the accident site. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, and that black box is an important part of the investigation. So if you see debris, do not touch it. Instead, call the NTSB or 911. Also contact 911 if you know someone who is missing. Now, as for the investigation, we expect to learn more details from city officials late tomorrow morning. Live in Northeast Philadelphia,
I don't know how anybody could be
Smith,
missing.
Channel 6 Action News. Walter?
Okay, Brianna, thank you. The Mexican consulate and Jet Rescue Air Ambulance are working closely with local and federal authorities as they work to identify all the victims from the plane crash.
A few families have been trying to identify if their loved ones were in the plane.
Our condolences go to the family of the patient. It's just heartbreaking.
The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, released a statement saying, quote, she mourns the passing of 6 Mexicans in the aviation accident. Action News reporter Brianna Gallagher joins us live from Northeast Philadelphia with an update on the conditions of some of the bystanders injured as the medical jet crashed. Brianna.
I can't imagine being on the street, in a car, walking down the street, waiting for a bus, whatsoever, crossing the street, boom, hit by a damn airplane, debris from a plane, parts of a plane. Can't make this stuff up. This is why I always say, you never know where you're going to be when something terrible happens. Doesn't you go? You have no idea what can happen to you once you step outside of your home. This is just horrific. 3 aircrafts in 2 days. You can't make this stuff up. Can't make this stuff up.
Some questions here tonight in terms of fatalities and injuries. But earlier today, we spoke with the mother and father of a 10-year-old boy who is believed to be one of the very first patients who have arrived at Jefferson Torresdale Hospital last night.
A baby in there. It's hard to say him like that. But he's good. You're pushing through.
10-year-old Andre Howard was in the car with his father and siblings when tragedy shook Northeast Philadelphia.
Here, what we thought was a car crash, but then you see a fury of fire in the air, and then a bunch of debris shooting everywhere.
Andre tells us he tried using nearby buildings to shield them from flying debris.
My son, who's also the same name as me, Andre Howard, tells his little sister, "Get down." And he grabs her. I hear the glass shatter. I turn around. Piece of metal sticking out of my son's head.
Wow.
Wow. Samaritan took the shirt off his back to help apply pressure to Andre's head. Then a Philadelphia police officer rushed them to Jefferson Torresdale Hospital, where the boy underwent emergency surgery.
They pretty much told us my son wasn't supposed to make it. Jefferson also told us that they didn't do children trauma surgeries, but they did for us, which was not for God.
Authorities say at least 7 people are dead and 19 others are injured, including Andre. Doctors initially told him that his son would never walk again, but after being transported, he has made miracle strides overnight.
Never faced death yesterday.
Wow.
And speaking today, stepping up for his little sister like I trained him and his other brothers to do, off of instinct, he's my hero.
He's strong. He's a jokester, but he's strong. He's a superhero.
Wow.
Now his mother tells me that his team of doctors and nurses are working around the clock to keep him stable and comfortable. Meanwhile, they'll be taking things day by day and continuing to pray for little Andre's full recovery. Philadelphia tonight, Brianna Gallagher, Channel 6.
Sorry, thank you.
Now imagine the hospital saying to them, well, we don't normally treat children. So where would he have gone if they decided to turn him away? Naturally, that'd be a lawsuit turning him away. He needed emergency surgery because he has an object in his head. Don't know how big the object was. They didn't expect him to walk rather. So was this something that would have affected his spinal cord? Because, everything's connected, your brain, your spinal cord. This is crazy. Father taking off shirt, whatever, jacket to wrap around the child, naturally so the child wouldn't bleed to death. It's one thing to be in your own home, have something terrible happen to you in your home. But my goodness, we all have to go outside. We go out for the evening, for the day. You're not thinking a plane is going to crash, blow the windows out of your home, your car, and have something embedded inside of your skull. Grace of God, little Andre is still alive. Amen. God is good. He favored this boy child. But somebody else was not unfortunate on the ground. They lost their life inside of their car. Imagine that. These people are alive. And they were also in their car. But someone else in their car did not make it home.
Well, the city of Philadelphia is providing residents with resources during the crash investigation. Mental health services are available through the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services. The Red Cross is also helping neighbors file claims for property damage, and local businesses can reach out to the Department of Commerce for any operational challenges. After that jet crash in a busy area packed with people shopping and eating out at local diners and restaurants. Many people are still trying to process exactly what happened. One person says he heard a loud bang and then his house started to shake. Action News reporter Katie Catro joins us live from Northeast Philadelphia, where she spoke with witnesses. Katie.
As you see cars scattered different places, ignited by fire from this plane crash. It's a very scary situation because, everyone does not behave the same when there is a tragedy or an accident. Some people will stand and gawk. Some people won't move. Some people will run. Some people will go run, help others. Everyone does not behave the same in an accident.
Walter, people who live in this densely populated part of Northeast Philadelphia are saddened, still trying to come to terms with what happened yesterday. We spoke with neighbors who described the sheer magnitude of this tragedy in their own.
People go to the movies, and to me, this is not a movie. This is for real.
Exactly.
I mean, something that is devastating, a tragedy.
Look at this couple here.
Like I said, I live a few blocks
they
away.
ran back in.
This is my own backyard, and this is a sad situation.
Daylight gave those who live in the area surrounding Common Avenue and the Roosevelt Boulevard a glimpse at the chaos and tragedy that played out in the sky and on their streets.
This is a tragedy, and it's devastating to even look at it.
People were driving, shopping, and inside restaurants.
I can't imagine driving, seeing that.
We see like
oh my goodness,
fire, explosion.
Look at that.
And we was sitting in a chair, and we fly from the chair.
Waleed Goma says he was terrified.
If you there, you was scared. You're gonna scare. And start like see some lady, her face is burned.
Debris scattered for blocks from the impact. He found some on his car.
I took my car because I have debris in the car.
You weren't supposed to move your car.
I took it to the police station.
DJ Thorpe walked out of the Roosevelt Mall just as the crash happened.
I was over here in the mall shopping. It came out amazing. It was a big explosion.
People here say this is a day that will live in their memories forever.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll remember the date, January 31st, 2025.
Now, Mayor Parker is asking for people to stay away from this area to give crews the space to do their job as the investigation continues. Reporting live in Northeast Philadelphia, Channel 6 Action News. Walter?
All right, Kate.
All right, everybody. This is just unbelievable. As I said, 3 aircrafts in 2 days. It's hard to understand how we're at this juncture in the road. How are we at this juncture in the road with 3 aircrafts going down on the East Coast? There's a piece of the ambulatory airplane in the road. Somebody's body was ejected out of this aircraft onto a roof of a building. Debris. Don't know where this box is, voice recorder box. Where is it? I hope no one's confiscated it. Please, if you have it, turn it in. Don't keep that, okay? Just saying, this type of party, this is serious business. They need that box. As they said, the box could be broken in 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Don't know. But I pray they find the box so they can get some understanding of what happened with this aircraft. It is said that this aircraft went left and right and they took a nosedive down into the street, busy district of homes, shopping mall. Cars caught on fire. Person in the car lost their life. As you hear, a young boy, Andre, was in the car with his family, sister and father, and the windows were blown out of their car, and a piece of the airplane was stuck in his head. That's how serious this impact was, to where it blew the windows out of their car, and then debris blew into the car and went inside of a child's skull. Sweet Jesus. This is deep. Prayers for Philadelphia. Prayers for little Andre. He makes a speedy recovery, that he will be able to walk and play again with his sibling, have a happy, productive life. The decedent on the ground that died inside of their car. Prayers for the 19 people injured, and also prayers to the families of those who perished on this medic plane. The pilots, the medical staff, the mother and the daughter. Sadly, this little child left this hospital with hopes of having a childhood, and she is no longer alive. Her mom and the others on that airplane. Please check out my live stream from earlier today about that update from the NTSB as well. They are very busy on the East Coast, as you see, working a crash in Washington, D.C., and also now Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As I said, we take for granted waking up, going outside, going to work, going out for the day, going to the movies. Friday night, people are out. They're out shopping, off from work, getting their groceries, taking in a movie, taking in the scenery. They had no idea this is what they were going to come across. As many of you know, I told you I had a dream a week or so ago. I told one of the fans, I had a dream that a plane crashed here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And it was so interesting. The dream was so real. People were walking about trying to see the debris of a plane crashing in the United States. And on this fateful week, the Queen dreams of a plane crashing here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And then 1 week later, on my birthday, a plane goes down in Washington, D.C. Yes, my birthday was Wednesday, January 29th. So while I was out celebrating my birthday at the Embassy Suites at the rooftop bar, a plane went down. So you can imagine my horror when I got home and found out about this aircraft and helicopter, and knowing I had had a dream the week before of an airplane going down in Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, naturally, dreams are what they are. Sometimes they're just dreams. They're things that's going on in your life. Of things that's going on in your life, not necessarily something horrific happening as an actual plane going down. But naturally, it's still horrific knowing I had the dream. Once again, prayers to those who perished in Washington, D.C. on the helicopter, the Black Hawk, and that American airliner, and also the people who perished on this plane in Philadelphia, and those on the ground who were. And I hope there's a better understanding of what happened in Philadelphia and also Washington, D.C. I brought you information earlier this morning pertaining to the update in Washington, D.C. I don't know if we're going to get an understanding. A lot of it's conflicting. You're entitled to believe what you want to believe. I don't believe in conspiracies. I believe this just so happened to be two planes on the same side of the coast that went down. One could be mechanical, one could be human error. But we will wait to see. I thank you for your time. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, end of a weekend, and God bless you. Have a glorious week. I had been saying Happy New Year, but there's not really much happiness now, is there? This has been a horrible new year, and I can say that personally. Before having any knowledge of these aircrafts going down, it has been a just ghetto, fabulous, ratchet-ass new year with all this BS with number 47 and these executive orders, planes falling out of the sky, people acting a damn fool, talking crazy, acting crazy, folks worrying the hell out of Queen. And I'm saying, I don't care what is going on. I am not engaging in any foolishness, nonsense this year. Because God is good and he's favoring me to be alive. I cannot participate. And I've made sure to remove myself from any BS. I advise you to do the same. Because this time on top of the dirt is short. Dreams. Hope to talk to a friend, family member. Go out to eat. We are here by the grace of God. He woke us up this morning. Amen. So we need to try to live life to the fullest and take advantage of this time we are here. So that's my advice to you. If you're listening to this live stream, take advantage of every day. Tell somebody you like them, you care, you love them. You have nothing to lose. They don't reciprocate? Well, all right, keep it moving. Somebody didn't get up this morning. Somebody didn't go home last night. Somebody didn't go home Friday night. Somebody didn't go home Wednesday night, if you understand what I'm saying. So you want to take advantage of every day that you are alive and you are well. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129, Cash App. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful week. Check my community board for said updates and all this information that I've played for you during this live stream page if you'd like to watch it. Again, at your own discretion. I will bring you an update to both cases out of DC and Philadelphia. Once again, prayers to both cities and the victims' families. And I pray for absolution. And if we can't get absolution, we'll just pray for the families that they can somehow move forward on their journey of grieving. You all have a wonderful week. Please be safe. Happy February, everybody. And once again, prayers for DC. 2 days of destruction and mayhem and death. But know that God got it, and he's the orchestrator of all things. And he's going to make a way no matter what. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. You have been listening to The Fault XL.